I think basically the only issue is which of the candidates is going to be in the best position to lead us, the county and the citizens, through the economic times that we're facing. And I think I'm the better candidate because of my small business experience. Basically, a lot of you know, again, I grew up on Main Street. My grandparents had a restaurant. And I practiced law basically in either a small office or as a sole proprietor throughout my whole life. So I have a very good handle on how to do more with less. I think that lends itself to working with the county budget. Secondly, and I think just as importantly, I was there for 8 years, so I know how it works. But I've been away from it for 14 years, so I've had a different perspective. So I think you're getting, in my mind, the best of both worlds. You're getting experience with a fresh look. And I will agree with Bill, this year's budget is going to be bad. I think even next year's budget will be even worse because we'll have a revaluation where the property values will be down, and that will require the commissioners to either reduce services or raise taxes.
As I indicated in my opening comments, clearly the county's economy is going to be the major issue. The last 2 years have been very difficult. Our county is in very strong financial shape because of the conservative financial leadership we've had over the last 2 years. We recognized what was coming early on, took the necessary steps, so we are in good shape. A lot of counties around us did not do that. They waited, didn't take the steps that were necessary, and they're in critical shape and are hurting very badly. This board has demonstrated we can do it. We have demonstrated the last 2 years we can do it, and we can continue to do that, give that conservative financial leadership. But we also, not just managing that, we have to continue to work on advancing small businesses, which we've shown we can do, promoting agriculture and tourism. That's what's going to get our economy going. Yes, the plan that we have adopted, I have been an advocate of improving recycling for years. We have not done the necessary job in a number of cases. And with respect to some of the capital projects, here's a perfect example. When I first came into office, we were in such bad shape with respect to schools, all county facilities, nothing had been done. We had a massive backlog of capital projects, so we had to prioritize things. Some things had to get pushed down to the bottom. Some of that was solid waste, some of it was recreation, unfortunately. But we had to tackle schools, all the other emergency situations that we had. Definitely, we need to continue. I go out to the landfill regularly. The road into the landfill is not safe. Saturdays and other times, traffic backs up on that road. It's a bad situation. We are moving to correct that, and we're going to continue to do that, and I certainly support it.
When I was Commissioner before, we started solid waste recycling. It's been an issue with us, with me, for many, many years. So I think that's something we really need to continue working on. That's where I would leave that. I would commend Mr. Moyer for his change from industrial to small business, because I agree small business built this country, and it's the only way we're going to get out of the mess we're in. I know we've needed a new law enforcement center for at least 20 years, if not more. I'm in the courthouse every day. I practice law, so I know that there are issues there. I don't know that you have to make a priority decision between those two. I think you can do both. But I would say law enforcement center would be a higher priority than moving the tax office out across the street, which I think is the game plan.
I mean, we have a plan now that will do both, and that plan is moving. We do need to relieve some of the space in the, if you will, the courthouse on Grove Street. There is overcrowding, but there's a number of things that must be done. We need to start to get some of our records on disk and things like that, and stop storing records in there. We are planning to move the tax office out to 100 North King. That will help relieve. But we do need relief in there. We need it right away. The district attorney's office is overcrowded. There's not good spaces for the attorneys to meet and privilege and things like that. So we do need to do that. But we also need the law enforcement center. It should have been done when the detention center was built, but again, it was one of those projects that just kept getting put off and put off and put off, and when I came to office, we inherited them all. And you can't do them all at one time, though we've tried to do many of them. Well, taxes is a function of two things. It's a simple equation. The tax rate and the value of the house. The value of the house, this is oversimplification, is only determined when the appraisal is done. We did it in '07, and we'll do it again in '11. And as Mike indicated, if values have gone down, when we do the reappraisal in '11, and you take the same tax rate times that, it's going to produce less money. And that's what he was referring to as a shortfall, and that's true. What has happened in a number of the counties around us, and I'm certainly not advocating because I don't think it's a good practice, a number of them, to avoid that problem, have put off their reappraisal for several years. I don't think that's fair. I think if the market's going up, we kept on with the reappraisal. We should continue to do it in '11. But what will happen is you take the lower value times the same tax rate, you have less money, so you have to see whether you're going to cut services or how you're going to close that gap.
Like Bill said, I mentioned it earlier, because it's a critical issue. It's an issue before the board now, in my mind, because of this fact. Right now, the tax people are going through the revaluation process. They are out there looking at properties and putting values on them today as we speak. My fear is if the commissioners don't keep a very close watch on what they're doing. The way these reappraisals work is you look at sales in a particular neighborhood, and then you take that number and you apply it to the huge size of the property. If they say, okay, these 3 or 4 sales in this neighborhood showed an increase, they will apply that countywide, and they will say, I don't know how they'll say it, they will say that our values have gone up. I think it's absolutely incredible to believe that our values have gone down. I'm being told the number of 15%. My business, my household, we've had to do more with less, the same with less. And I believe if the values of the county properties go down, which I believe they will, that the county should have to follow suit and do less like the rest of us have had to. Governments know it better than anybody else or any individual. We're a government of the people, by the people, and not above the people. My assumption is they get monthly reports. That's the way that we've always gotten it. So you keep an eye on it. You've got a professional management staff that keeps an eye on it for you as well, and you look for red flags. I don't know. I would assume they do like quarterly or annual or biannual reassessments of things as well. So you stay on the job and you keep your eyes open.
As Mike indicated, we rely very heavily in that area on a professional county manager and his staff to give us reports. What we instituted the last 2 years because of the critical situation, particularly with revenues and expenses, is the board, we devote the time each quarter to have a thorough review of our revenue picture, our expenses, and see where we have issues and where we don't. We have pretty much insisted that everybody stay under the budget. And we've had a couple of blips with energy spiking up and things like that. But the county staff has done a tremendous job of recognizing the budget, recognizing the importance and how the economy is affecting our citizens, and managing under their budget. You heard Andrew talk about it a little while ago. We give them budgets, and the rule is they're expected to stay there. It's not like in some governments where, it's a budget, it's a nice guy, but you spend whatever you want. They're not allowed to do that, and we monitor it, and the county managers make sure it doesn't happen.